And it's an energetic presence and a spiritual presence that we can sense not only in our bodies.
A warm pulse rises in your hands, subtle at first, almost teasing, then spreading through your arms like liquid fire. Your chest feels alive, your breath deepens, and suddenly, energy isn't an abstract idea. It's moving, tangible, unmistakable. The spherical pillar method doesn't ask for belief, only attention, and the moment you engage, the world shifts. Air feels denser, the floor hums beneath your feet, and your body begins to remember a rhythm it forgot it knew. This isn't theory, this is Qi. Right now you can feel it, swirling, vibrating, waiting to be shaped. One simple practice opens a doorway and you'll sense it instantly. The hidden current within. There is a river flowing beneath your awareness. You do not see it, you do not hear it, yet it moves. Quietly, persistently, it courses through every corner of your body, twisting around bones, brushing past organs, slipping between muscles, until it reaches the very edge of perception. Most people go through their lives entirely unaware of this hidden current. It is the pulse of life, the subtle hum of existence, the thing Taoists call Qi. Lao Tzu wrote of it centuries ago in the Tao Te Ching, hinting at a force that cannot be grasped with hands or eyes, only sensed with attention and openness. The Tao is like a river, silent yet flowing endlessly, he said, and in that small phrase lies the truth. Beneath the apparent stillness of our daily routines there is movement. Qi is not something distant or abstract. It moves through channels in your body called meridians, invisible pathways connecting every part of you. You have walked, run, eaten, and slept along these channels without noticing them. The meridians are like hidden streets beneath a city. Cars do not honk, but the flow is constant. Energy circulates, sometimes vibrant, sometimes sluggish, depending on your posture, your breath, your attention. Most ignore it because life is loud, the mind is full, the world presses with demands and distractions. But the current is still there, waiting, patient, unaffected by whether you acknowledge it. Consider the parable of a river hidden beneath the earth. On the surface, the land appears calm, even barren. Trees grow, birds flit, humans walk, but below the crust, water rushes through tunnels carved over centuries. One day, a villager digs a well and suddenly the water bursts forth, clear and powerful, seemingly appearing from nowhere. The river had always been there, but no one could see or feel it until a deliberate act connected them. So it is with Qi. The flow exists within and around you. The moment you align your attention and your body, the invisible becomes tangible. You can feel it if you allow yourself. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe. Feel the air moving through your nostrils. Notice your chest rising and falling, perhaps a tingling in your fingertips, a warmth along your spine, a subtle vibration in your stomach. These are the whispers of the current. They are not guaranteed at first, but even a fleeting sense is proof of presence. Your body has always been a vessel for Qi, whether you acknowledge it or not. Lao Tzu reminds us that the natural flow cannot be forced. You cannot chase it or drag it into awareness. It responds to subtlety, to attention without aggression. The meridians, those quiet highways, do not rush. They twist and curve like the river beneath the earth. When the mind is calm and the body is open, the current rises like a gentle tide. You may notice warmth in the hands, a cooling sensation in the feet, and a lightness along the spine. These are signposts, small confirmations that the hidden current is waking in response to your presence. Even in darkness, the energy does not cease. Your body is a map of hidden rivers, each one waiting to be discovered. Some flow strongly, some sluggishly. Some are connected to organs, others to limbs, and some to spaces you cannot easily perceive. This is why beginners often miss it. The current is subtle, it whispers rather than shouts. Awareness is a kind of magnet, drawing these currents closer to perception. The moment you pay attention, the invisible begins to ripple, and yet not every feeling is pleasant. The current may stir discomfort or resistance, revealing stagnation or tension. This shadow side is part of the flow, part of the natural river beneath your awareness. Recognizing it without judgment allows qi to circulate more freely. Awareness alone is transformative. Even noticing the blockages brings motion to still places. The hidden current does not judge, it simply moves. As the mind settles and the body softens, a sense of continuity emerges. The river beneath your skin is no longer abstract. It has shape, rhythm, and direction. You may feel small bursts of energy, tingling along the arms or a warm pulse at the chest. The awareness itself becomes a tool, a first step in engaging the body's natural energy. The current is waiting, not for you to force it, but for you to become aware enough to step into its flow, and when that awareness deepens, the body is ready for the first deliberate act. The spherical pillar rising from within, channeling this hidden current into a focused, tangible form that can be felt almost instantly. Awakening the body's spheres. The body is not a solid, unchanging form. It is a constellation of spheres, each humming with its own subtle resonance. Qigong masters of old described these spheres as tiny suns, pockets of concentrated energy that respond to breath, posture, and attention. They are invisible, yet unmistakable once the mind softens and the body allows sensation to rise. Imagine holding a handful of water balloons in the dark. You cannot see them, but their shapes shift and pulse beneath your fingers. That is what your body feels like when its internal spheres awaken. Start by noticing your posture. A straight spine is not just structural, it is a conductor. When you lift the head slightly, relax the shoulders, and soften the chest, the spheres begin to align. Each inhale draws energy into the center of these spheres. Each exhale allows the current to ripple outward. The movement is subtle at first, like the gentle undulation of a hidden tide. You may feel warmth gathering near the heart, a faint vibration in the hands, a tingling around the navel. These are the spheres responding to awareness. Psychologists have long noted that increased body awareness heightens energy perception. Studies on interoception, the mind's ability to sense internal bodily states, show that people who practice mindful attention report stronger physical sensations and more vivid awareness of subtle phenomena. When applied to qi, this is not mere imagination. Awareness itself activates pathways, priming the meridians to carry energy more freely. The spheres are not just conceptual, they are dynamic and responsive, waiting for conscious engagement. As attention moves to each sphere, there is a gentle exploration. The navel sphere might feel soft or dense. The chest sphere may pulse in rhythm with your heartbeat. The crown of the head could feel light, almost expanding outward. In Qigong, these sensations are signs of energy stirring, but they are also mirrors of your physical and emotional state. Resistance in a sphere indicates tension or blockage, a shadow aspect of the body that has been neglected. Patience and curiosity are the only tools needed here. Force nothing, simply notice, breathe, and feel. The breath acts as both key and guide. Draw air slowly into the lower abdomen, imagining it filling the spheres one by one. Let each exhale carry awareness into every corner of the body. Some spheres may awaken quickly, buzzing with life. Others may require more attention, more cycles of inhalation and exhalation before you sense movement. This is natural. Qigong masters remind us that energy has its own rhythm. It cannot be hurried. The spherical pillar method respects this rhythm, giving each sphere space to open without tension. A curious warmth begins to build. It may start in the hands, rise to the shoulders, flow down the legs, or radiate from the heart. This is energy connecting across the spheres, a subtle network forming beneath the skin. For many, it is the first moment they feel qi not as a vague concept, but as an immediate, tangible presence. The spheres no longer exist in isolation. They resonate with each other, sending ripples through the entire body. It is a living system, intelligent and responsive, a current that anticipates intention even before the mind fully grasps it. Awareness of the spheres also draws attention to the spaces between them. Energy does not only reside in the nodes, it flows through the channels, linking one sphere to another. This is where the meridians show their value. You may sense a gentle line of warmth or tingling tracing along the spine, connecting the crown and root. Perhaps subtle currents weave around the arms or legs, forming invisible arcs that bridge spheres. Each connection is an invitation to explore further, to let the current move without obstruction. Some moments bring resistance. Perhaps a sphere feels blocked, heavy, or cold. Do not be alarmed. Even Qigong masters speak of these moments as natural. Shadow and light coexist in the body's energy, and awareness alone begins to dissolve tension. Simply breathing into the sphere, observing it without judgment, allows Qi to circulate more freely. The energy is alive, responsive, patient, and from these awakened spheres, a single pillar begins to rise within, quietly calling attention to what comes next. The pillar forms. A quiet awareness gathers at the center of the body. Imagine it as a thin shaft of light, rising from the base of your spine, threading upward like a gentle flame. This is the spherical pillar, a vertical channel connecting each of the awakened spheres, creating alignment and concentration. In Taoist practice, it is called the Dumai, the central channel, a conduit through which Qi moves freely, linking body, mind, and spirit. You do not force it, you allow it to emerge, as if the body itself is drawing a line from earth to sky. Posture is subtle but essential, sitting or standing with a spine that is neither rigid nor slouched. The pillar can rise without obstruction. Shoulders relax, chest softens, and head balances naturally. Each inhalation draws the spheres inward, gently funneling energy toward the pillar. Exhalation lets awareness sink into it, reinforcing its presence. Some report feeling a warmth along the spine, a soft vibration like a thread of electricity weaving through the vertebrae. Others sense it as a light pressure, a subtle magnetic pull from crown to root. Historical accounts of Taoist masters speak of pillars that arose instantly in meditation. One master claimed that simply focusing attention along the central axis of the body produced an immediate perception of Qi, as though a hidden faucet of energy had been turned on. The experience was subtle at first, a tingling in the hands, a warmth at the heart, but unmistakable. Stories like these remind us that the pillar is not imaginary. It is a real alignment, a channel that exists within the body waiting to be noticed. The pillar is more than vertical, it is structural, a spine of energy around which everything else orbits. The spheres from the previous stage rotate, pulse, and resonate around it. Each one contributes to the pillar's strength, feeding energy upward and downward simultaneously. You might feel currents rising from the root, intertwining with the breath, and descending from the crown, connecting heaven and earth. The body becomes a conduit, but not in the way of mechanical pipes. It is alive, flowing, responsive. Visualization and sensation go hand in hand. The mind's attention can sketch the pillar as a column of light, a cord of energy, or even a delicate, translucent cylinder enveloped in warmth. Physical sensation anchors this visualization. Hands may feel tingling, feet may sense grounding, and the spine may hum with subtle vibration. The two together, awareness and body feeling, strengthen the pillar, solidifying the alignment of energy. It is not forceful, it grows naturally as attention nourishes it. Some moments are uneven. Perhaps a sphere resists, a blockage manifests as heaviness or cold. The pillar can still rise, but the sensation may fluctuate. Taoist teachings advise patience. Qi cannot be coerced. Observing without judgment allows the current to adjust. Even resistance is part of the pillar's emergence, revealing areas that need gentleness or focus. Every fluctuation is feedback, a whisper from the body urging harmony rather than haste. As the pillar strengthens, awareness expands beyond the internal column. Energy no longer wanders randomly between spheres. It channels vertically, unifying the body's internal currents into a single flow. The vertical alignment allows Qi to circulate more efficiently. Each sphere resonates in sync, reinforcing the pillar and creating a coherent, perceptible presence of energy. You may notice your breath feels lighter, your hands warmer, or a subtle tingling along your spine. The pillar is the body's signal that internal energy is now concentrated, focused, alive. The spherical pillar also prepares the body for interaction with the space around it. When energy is aligned and concentrated, it radiates outward more effectively. The vertical channel acts as a spine for the flow, enabling subtle currents to extend beyond the body, brushing against the invisible threads of the environment. Each pulse along the pillar sends ripples into the surrounding field, as if the body itself becomes a beacon of energy, responding to intention and awareness simultaneously. Once the pillar has fully risen, The energy no longer hesitates or scatters, but stands ready to reach outward, connecting the self to the subtle currents that surround and shape experience. Expanding the field. The pillar is no longer a lone column of energy. It breathes, pulses, and begins to reach outward, like ripples spreading from a stone dropped in still water. You may notice warmth extending past the skin, a faint tingling brushing the space around you. This is your first encounter with the energy field beyond the body, the aura that Eastern traditions describe as a luminous envelope surrounding every living being. It is subtle, elusive, but unmistakable once attention lingers long enough to feel the extension. Movement is part of the process. Small shifts in posture, subtle rotations of the torso, or even the gentle lifting of the head can stretch the pillar outward, allowing spheres to radiate their energy into space. Some areas may feel thicker, heavier, or brighter than others, revealing where qi flows easily and where it hesitates. The body's internal currents now interact with the surrounding environment, brushing against unseen forces and subtle vibrations that most never notice. Awareness becomes a kind of antenna, sensing energy as it extends beyond the skin. Across continents and centuries, cultures have described similar phenomena. The African concept of niyama, a life force connecting all beings, mirrors the aura in remarkable ways. Niyama is not limited to the self. It flows outward, linking you to the ground you stand on, the air you breathe, even other people nearby. Feeling your energy radiate outward is a first step toward perceiving this interconnection, a quiet acknowledgement that you're not isolated, but part of a network of living, breathing force. Breath guides the extension. Inhale, drawing the energy upward along the pillar. Exhale, and let it spill outward, filling the space around you. Hands may feel lighter, fingertips tingling, and a subtle expansion along the arms. The field is dynamic, responding to both thought and attention. Tiny sparks of sensation may appear along your skin, as if the body is brushing against invisible threads woven through the air. Push too hard and it stiffens. Relax and it flows. The energy is alive, intelligent, playful even, revealing the delicate balance between control and surrender. Your awareness may detect objects, air currents, or even sounds differently now. A slight draft brushing your skin might feel amplified, a nearby vibration sensed before it registers consciously. The field interacts with its environment, sending and receiving subtle cues. Eastern traditions call this the aura, an energetic halo that reflects emotional, mental, and physical states. Colours or lightness might flicker in your mind's eye, subtle hints of the aura interacting with the environment. It is a living interface between your inner world and the outer, a sphere that quietly communicates with everything it touches. Some moments are quiet, almost imperceptible. Even the rhythm of your heartbeat can begin to sync with the gentle currents around you, creating a subtle harmony between inner and outer flow. Other moments are startling, hands buzzing, chest swelling with heat, the spine humming as though connected to a hidden network. These fluctuations are natural. Shadow aspects may emerge, areas where qi has been stagnant or blocked, and awareness of them allows gentle correction. The energy does not judge, it simply reveals, offering guidance for where attention or breath can encourage flow. With the field expanding, a sense of connection emerges, not just with the environment, but with those around you. A person across the room may seem slightly warmer, a plant may vibrate subtly in response to your presence. This is niyama at work, the recognition that energy is not confined, that life force moves between beings, creating a web of subtle influence. Awareness of this interconnection enhances both perception and empathy, teaching the first lessons of the body's power beyond itself. Energy now moves with intention. The pillar channels the current, the spheres feed it, and the field radiates outward, creating the first profound sense of presence. You may feel both small and immense simultaneously. Small, because the self is part of something larger. Immense. After all, you are aware of currents stretching beyond sight or touch. This stage is delicate. Subtle shifts in thought, attention, and posture will expand or constrict the field. Learning to observe without forcing it is essential. As the energy flows outward and responds to its surroundings, the body begins to notice the feedback, subtle currents that hint at unseen forces, signaling the next stage where connection deepens into dialogue. The pulse of connection. A faint vibration moves through the body, not random but responsive. The energy you have cultivated now reacts to thought, intention, and environment. A shift in focus causes currents to ripple along the pillar and through the surrounding field. The room seems alive. Objects appear to hum faintly. Air feels denser in some corners, lighter in others. Even the faintest sounds can send tiny waves of qi back through the body, as if the world itself is acknowledging your presence. History records mystics and energy-sensitive individuals who perceived these interactions centuries before modern study. Some claim they could sense the invisible aura of a tree or the unspoken tension in a room. One account tells of a monk who could detect approaching footsteps by the subtle pulse of air and energy, moving before the sound of a footfall reached his ears. These stories are not fantastical if we consider the body and energy field as instruments finely attuned to subtle resonance. Awareness is the key. The pulse is already there, waiting for the observer to notice. Imagine a reed bending with the wind. It does not resist, does not fight. It simply moves in harmony with the currents around it. So too with qi. Energy responds best when the mind does not try to dominate it. You may notice subtle nudges along the arms, warmth shifting unexpectedly, the chest pulsing in rhythm with external stimuli. These are the whispers of your field. Feedback loops that communicate through sensation and intention. When you bend with the energy rather than resisting, the pulse becomes coherent, alive, and perceptible. Reciprocity becomes noticeable to the body. Energy radiates outward and returns, not always in predictable ways. Even the faintest shift of your gaze can alter the currents around your head and shoulders, revealing how attention alone moves energy. A chair near you might feel slightly warmer. Your hands may tingle in response to a breeze, or a person nearby may create an almost imperceptible pull in your field. The more aware you are, the clearer these currents become. It is a dialogue rather than a monologue. Qi is not static. It is a conversation between internal intention and external responsiveness. Breath reinforces the pulse. Gentle, mindful inhalations draw attention into the core of the pillar, while exhalations extend awareness outward. Small gestures, like a gentle stretch or a slow turn of the torso, create subtle waves that ripple through both the internal pillar and the surrounding field. The rhythm of breath, aligned with the subtle responses of the field, deepens perception. The pulse becomes more than sensation, it becomes understanding. Tiny shifts in temperature, pressure, or vibration tell you where energy moves freely and where it hesitates. Awareness of these movements enhances both intuition and bodily sensitivity. Moments of resistance are natural. Energy may falter when the mind tenses or when attention wanders. The pulse can feel jagged or scattered, as if the reeds in the wind have stiffened. Observing without judgment allows these spots to gradually harmonize. Shadow and light coexist in the field. Acceptance encourages integration. The more you notice the pulse, the more it strengthens, feeding both the body and the awareness that perceives it. Connection is not limited to the self. Qi responds to other beings in subtle ways. A friend, a stranger, or even a pet may influence the field. Their energy enters the environment and interacts with your own, sometimes gently, sometimes strongly. Sensitivity to these shifts is a doorway to empathy, perception, and understanding. History speaks of those who trained this sensitivity deliberately, claiming the ability to anticipate moods, sense health, or perceive intention. Modern science calls it perception of subtle cues. Ancient mystics called it harmony with the pulse of life itself. The more you feel the responsiveness of your energy, the more it becomes clear. Qi is not confined to the body. It flows, interacts, and responds. Every breath, every slight movement, every thought participates in this dialogue. Awareness becomes a partner rather than a controller, sensing the feedback and adjusting accordingly. The body and the field pulse together, a living system of subtle signals and energy currents. And as the energy responds with rhythm and subtlety, a natural question arises. If qi can react so perceptively, can it also be guided consciously without force? Directing the flow. The pulse of connection invites intention. Now that energy responds to the environment, the next step is gentle guidance. learning to move qi consciously along the body's pathways. Imagine drawing a line through the pillar, from root to crown, and then letting it spiral outward through the spheres. The movement is deliberate but effortless, a conversation between attention and energy rather than a command. This is the essence of Wu Wei, the Taoist principle of effortless action, guiding without forcing, moving without strain. Hands can act as mirrors, amplifying the sensation of flow. Place them just above a sphere or along a limb and notice how the qi responds. Some areas may feel lighter, almost buoyant, others denser, as if holding tension. Directing energy is not about pushing. It is about awareness, creating pathways for what already exists. Historical records from ancient China describe healers who cultivated qi along channels to restore vitality and balance, sensing energy movement intuitively rather than forcing it. Their skill was subtle, built on patience and attention, demonstrating that direction is most powerful when it flows naturally from the body's own intelligence. Breath synchronizes with movement. Inhale, feeling the pillar fill. Exhale, allowing energy to extend along chosen channels. Visualize qi as liquid light, winding along meridians, reaching each sphere, feeding the body evenly. The sensation may appear as warmth, tingling, or a gentle vibration that travels with intention. The subtle flow reinforces the pillar's stability while awakening the peripheral network of energy around it. Each pulse becomes a thread, connecting internal and external currents, weaving a coherent system of qi. Some movements feel awkward at first. Energy may resist, scatter, or retreat. Observe these responses without judgment. Wu Wei teaches that even the hesitations are part of the current's intelligence. Forcing the flow creates tension, allowing it encourages alignment. Small shifts in posture, attention, or breath can smooth the pathway, coaxing qi gently along the meridians. The pillar acts as both channel and reservoir, holding energy while letting it move where attention guides. Awareness deepens when flow is directed inward as well as outward. You may notice microcurrents tracing along the edges of the ribs, or a gentle warmth spreading across the lower back, signals that the body's intelligence is guiding the energy in response to your attention. With practice, subtle currents along the spine, arms, and legs become easier to perceive and guide. Previously unnoticed, small sensations may now catch your attention. Faint warmth in a fingertip, subtle pressure along a rib, or a soft pulsing between the shoulder blades. These hints are not random. They are responses from the body's intelligent energy network, responding to intention, awareness, and breath. Directing the flow is a dialogue. Give energy space, pay attention, and let it respond naturally. Visualization strengthens direction. Some practitioners imagine qi as a ribbon of light, winding through spheres, threading along the central pillar, and expanding outward. Others sense it as water flowing through channels, filling spaces without spilling. Both methods achieve the same effect: alignment of internal energy with conscious attention. Historical Chinese healers described similar imagery, teaching apprentices to see energy with the mind's eye while feeling it with the body. The pillar becomes a spine for these currents, supporting focus while remaining flexible and responsive. The more you practice, the more effortless it becomes. Energy moves fluidly, spiraling through the pillar, radiating through spheres, responding to breath and intention without strain. Subtle insights emerge: areas of tension, pockets of vitality, and spaces that can be consciously nurtured. Directing the flow is not about control in the ordinary sense. It is about awareness, meeting energy where it already is, encouraging natural circulation, and cultivating clarity in both body and mind. Even the slightest shift in focus can redirect currents. Awareness is a tool, intention is a guide. Qi responds to this interaction, moving along the paths you suggest, settling into a rhythm that feels alive yet effortless. As the flow becomes more refined, the body begins to reveal subtler layers, microcurrents and sensations that were previously hidden, a finer tapestry of energy awaiting perception. With qi flowing with intention but no force, the mind naturally turns inward, ready to detect the subtle layers of sensation and understanding that have always been present. The subtle mind-body merge. Consciousness begins to ripple along with energy. The spherical pillar no longer simply conducts qi, it becomes a bridge connecting subtle sensation with thought and emotion. Each pulse along the pillar resonates not just in the body but in the mind. You may notice a fleeting intuition, a sudden clarity, or a gentle alignment of feelings and thought patterns. Henri Bergson described a vital force animating life, flowing beyond the purely physical. Here, that vital force is tangible, not abstract, a subtle current weaving through awareness and body alike. Emotions gain texture, a breath deepens a feeling, a gentle stretch softens tension held in memory. Qi responds, flowing where awareness leads, highlighting patterns previously unnoticed. The heart may pulse more clearly, the stomach hums softly, or the hands tingle as if remembering ancient currents. The body's intelligence speaks, and the mind begins to listen. This is not imagination. It is perception refined. Prana, as Indian yogic texts describe it. Consciousness in motion, sensing itself as it moves through form. Thoughts also carry weight in this merging. A curious idea, a gentle focus, or even the intent to release tension can ripple along the pillar, reverberating through the spheres and into the surrounding field. Subtle adjustments in attention may change the quality of qi, shifting it from heavy to light, from scattered to coherent. You may notice microcurrents along the spine responding to mental cues, or a warmth spreading through the body when intention aligns with sensation. The mind and energy are dancing in synchrony. This stage reveals patterns that were previously hidden. A block in the body may correlate with hesitation in thought. A surge of warmth may align with emotional release. Awareness of these subtleties allows gentle adjustment. No force is required, just observation and subtle guidance. Qi flows with the mind, and the mind becomes more attuned to the body, as though every cell holds a sensor and every thought resonates along the pillar. The surrounding field also becomes more sensitive to this integration. Small movements or glances ripple outward, and the energy returns, mirrored in the environment. You may sense subtle currents in another person's presence, or a shift in a room's energy as if responding to your internal alignment. Consciousness is no longer separate from sensation or environment. It participates actively in the flow, a living dialogue. This awareness deepens intuition, enhancing perception of both self and surroundings. Subtle sound and vibration become more perceptible as well. A distant hum, the rhythm of your own heartbeat, or even the faint rustle of air through a room may echo along the energy pathways. Qi seems to respond, amplifying some sensations and softening others. By noticing these small cues, the integration of mind, body and energy deepens further, reinforcing the sense that consciousness and life force are inseparable and in constant dialogue. The body's spheres, the central pillar and the energy field now operate in concert with thought and feeling. Microcurrents, subtle tingling, warmth, and pulsing sensations all become familiar companions. Qi is not only tangible but integrated with cognition, emotion, and subtle perception. The mind is no longer observing from the outside, it merges with the flow, noticing once invisible shifts. This subtle merging fosters clarity, insight, and a quiet sense of presence. Even subtle attention shapes energy. Focusing on a single sphere may illuminate tension. Shifting awareness along the pillar may harmonize emotions. Imagining qi moving outward may strengthen perception of the surrounding field. Each thought, feeling, and breath is now a participant in the flow. The mind becomes a vessel for subtle currents, and the body becomes a map for consciousness in motion. Awareness expands without effort, guided by gentle intention rather than force. This deep merging primes the next stage, where qi is not only felt and directed, but also maintained and integrated into everyday life. The subtle currents that were once hidden now become companions, quietly informing perception, guiding attention, and supporting clarity in both action and thought. In the meeting of mind, body, and energy, a natural openness awakens, allowing this awareness to flow into the living world, attuned to qi in all things. Living within the flow. Awareness is no longer confined to meditation or quiet practice. Qi can move with you through daily routines, walking, sitting, speaking, even washing dishes. Every movement becomes an opportunity to sense subtle currents, to feel energy circulating along the pillar and radiating through the spheres. Eastern traditions emphasize qi as an essential part of health and vitality, not just a mystical exercise. When integrated into daily life, It supports clarity, calm, and resilience. Breath remains a silent anchor. A few mindful inhalations and exhalations can re-establish the pillar, realign spheres, and refresh the energy field, even in the middle of a busy day. Tiny adjustments in posture or intention carry the same weight as longer meditative sessions. Qi responds immediately, reminding you that the internal field is always active, always present. Life itself becomes a subtle practice, a continuous weaving of awareness and energy. Interaction with others gains nuance. You may notice the sway of energy in conversation, the unspoken currents that accompany gestures, tone, or presence. African traditions speak of ancestral energy guiding daily life, suggesting that subtle currents from those who came before us flow through our own bodies and decisions. Awareness of these layers deepens perception, making everyday encounters richer, more attuned, and more alive. Even mundane spaces take on a new texture. A chair, a doorway, or the edge of a table may feel charged or neutral, responsive or static. By moving with awareness, you learn to navigate these currents, aligning yourself subtly with the natural flow around you. Qi becomes a tool for perception, helping you read environments with a heightened sensitivity, noticing patterns invisible to the ordinary senses. Small rituals reinforce this connection. Standing in the morning sun, stretching before sleep, or taking a moment to sense the energy of your hands before touching an object can all strengthen the awareness of flow. Each repetition reinforces the pillar and the surrounding field, keeping the body, mind, and energy attuned. Over time, these micro-practices accumulate, turning awareness into a natural, effortless rhythm rather than a task. Energy also supports emotional resilience. When faced with tension, a quick return to the pillar and spheres can create balance. A subtle pulse of awareness, a soft expansion of qi, or a gentle visualization restores equilibrium, diffusing stress before it becomes lodged in the body. Qi becomes a companion, quietly informing decisions, guiding attention, and reinforcing calm in ways both practical and profound. Even creativity and insight benefit. Artists, writers, and thinkers often describe moments when inspiration seems to flow through them. With an active pillar and responsive field, you may notice similar currents, ideas moving fluidly, connections arising intuitively, solutions emerging with minimal conscious effort. The energy field supports both subtle perception and active engagement, making life more fluid, alive, and responsive. Maintaining this awareness does not require perfection. Some days the pillar feels strong and the spheres vibrant. Other days, currents feel sluggish or scattered. Attention, intention, and breath help re-establish flow without pressure. The practice is continuous, unfolding moment by moment, blending effortlessness with attention. Qi is not a goal, but a companion, present in every movement, thought, and interaction. And as energy moves with you, responding to life's rhythms, it quietly invites curiosity, reminding you that the spherical pillar is not an endpoint but a doorway to continual exploration. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey with Qi, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear how the spherical pillar works for you.